We're sitting here today with Scott Harris from Steel Drum Smokers BBQ. He's one of our PayPal Working Capital merchants, and we just wanted to ask him some questions today while he was visiting our Timonium office.
Thank you. Well, first, thank you for having me. Thank
Absolutely.
you for finding out about me. And whoever the person that thought of finding someone local to be able to talk about this, genius.
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever that person is, I need to make sure I shake their hand before I go again, if I haven't already, or just tell them thank you. Because honestly enough, this is a great opportunity for me to get out, and I won't say into the community, but because you are in my community, it is in the community, and to tell my story to someone else. And it's all about telling the story.
Totally.
Yeah. You know.
So tell us, to that point, tell us a little bit about your story. How did you start your business?
Honestly enough, it started organically. The long and the short of it is, I used to do sales. I worked in the bank for a while. Let me take it back for that. I'm a hustler. I will do what needs to be done to get money. And when I was young, my mother made me respect money by making me pay for half of a whale walking trip. And to do that, I had to cut grass, and then I also sold blow pops in school. So I was always selling something to have cash in my pocket. I became accustomed to make sure I had cash in my pocket. Fast forward to, however, later, and I worked in banking. And most people don't think of banking as retail sales, but it is. So I was a good salesman, period, always. And I could sell people on almost any and everything that had to be sold, even if you told me you didn't want it. Great. Again, next, leap was I got laid off from my day job. When I got laid off from my day job, honestly enough, I was doing barbecue part-time, and it was like, this is now or never. And it was one of those things where I was able to do barbecue. It just worked. It just fit. And I gave it a shot. And I figured, what's the worst that could happen? If something happens, I can always go back to work what I was doing. And it's grown organically via social networks, to be honest. And I don't know how I've gotten to this point where people are starting to know who I am. But it's a great thing when I've been talking to my phone, or I've been talking to my camera, I've been talking to the keyboard to finally get feedback from people who know who I am. It's that year and a half, that 2-year investment in just putting out content is starting to finally pay off.
I just had some delicious meat that you prepared for
Thank
lunch.
you.
That was great.
So barbecue was full of innuendo, and I could have really taken that. So we're gonna keep it family.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I got into barbecue. I went to Texas, and I had barbecue, and I couldn't get it where I'm living currently in Baltimore. I couldn't get it in Baltimore. So it took me 7 years to get it right. And the reason I call my company Steel Drum Smokers BBQ is because I formed my company using steel drums to smoke them in. And that was the final key. I used my grill, and I had one of those little teeny bullet smokers, and it just didn't really work. When I found plans or found a design to make a smoker out of a steel drum, it took me some time to get the materials together. But once I finally did it, everything clicked, and it all fell into place. And I'm now 2.5 years later, and it's working. Of course, I can always be doing more, but I've outgrown those. Again, this is pretty much it. All right, now I've outgrown those drums to this point where I have a few other smokers, but I still make sure that every now and again I use one of the drums. It reminds me of where I came from, where I started.
Sure. So what keeps you up at night? It sounds like
what keeps me up at night?
You have a vision. You sort of fulfilled that.
I don't. Honestly enough, and I'll tell you, it took me probably this 2.5 years, and on my way here today, I was thinking, because I was prepared, I was told that there's gonna be a Q&A or a talk, and I never really thought of it this way, but I have a passion for barbecue. And it took me 2 years to realize that that's what it was. In the beginning, I'm like, I'm having fun cooking. I have fun leading the people that enjoy my food. And that's always what it's been about. But when you start to get me talking about barbecue, I could talk to you for hours on end about different woods, different fires, different, cooking methods, different everything involved with meat, fire, and cooking. So I think I've more or less realized internally that it is a passion, and it's not just fun, and it's not just something to do, or it's not a hobby any longer. It's a hustle, and that's what it is.
Great. How did you discover PayPal?
So I've been on the internet for a long time. I've had PayPal account. I think my PayPal account dates back to probably 2006 or 2007.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so I'm fluent in the internet and things all on the internet. I didn't sell many things on eBay, but the few things I did buy or sell on eBay, of course, PayPal was the right-hand man to eBay to make sure that your purchases were protected and other things like that. And I've kind of carried that PayPal account for all of these years, and now I've finally gotten to the point where I'm using it more for purpose intended for the business aspect rather than the personal aspect.
Oh.
So that when I made that switch, it was a leap. So,
Do you use other PayPal products besides the online checkout?
So there's the PayPal here, and then of course the working capital, which is why I'm here today.
Yeah, how did you discover
By accident.
PayPal working capital?
Accident.
Okay.
The smoker, the latest smoker that I bought, the builder, he built the smoker, and honestly enough, he asked me to bid it up on eBay. He wanted to cover his costs, and I advertised for him, and he advertised, but it just wasn't the right time, I guess. He was trying to sell it in about November of last year, and it wasn't the right time, and because it wasn't the right time, there was no traction. There was one person that bid on it just because they found it, and they we're going to get it for like $500. He was like, dude, I can't let that happen. I need you to bid it up to at least cover my costs. And when I did that, now this auction was from Saturday to Saturday. On Wednesday, something popped up when I was doing invoicing or checking something through PayPal, and it said, hey, check out this new product we have. It's called PayPal Working Capital. And I'm like, all right, click. What do you mean I've been approved? And it was that fast.
Okay.
And when I got approved, it was like, I have a couple $1,000s in my PayPal account. What am I going to do with this couple $1,000s in my PayPal account? Because I'm a small business. I mean, everything in goes right back out. That was the most money I had in my PayPal account in a long time. And I'll be honest with you, my first thought was, buy the smoker. It was undervalued, and I knew that it was an investment because I could buy it for half of what it was worth. And if I needed to flip it immediately, I could, or at least I could try to, and I would make money off of it. And that's the hustle in me. I look at everything almost as an investment. So I invested in that, and I bought the smoker, and then I used some of the other capital to buy other things that I needed at the time to help make things easier for me. So that was pretty much it. And I mean, it's working. It's working for me. Are there times where I miss that? I have mine set up to take out 20% of my sales. Are there times where I miss that 20%? Heck yeah. But when I think about the fact that I wouldn't have had the 20% to lose if I didn't buy the smoker, it's a wash.
Okay.
So,
Is that one of your favorite features that you just really don't have to think about making the payment, that it automatically comes out?
So yes and no. Again, being completely honest, I have a financial background. I worked in banking for 6 years, so I know the ins and outs of financing and APRs and all of those things. And when I did the math, the interest rate, if you will, was going to be in the double digits. But because of the fact that there was no compound interest, there was no anything, it was just a straight flat fee, it made me feel a little better. But there are times when if someone pays me, like you guys paid me for your event, honestly enough, I pay for other things aside from just doing food.
Sure.
I have a wife, I have children, I have other things in my household that I have to take care of, and those things, I won't say come first, but I still have to pay those things. And when I pay those things and then still do what I need to buy or purchase what I need to buy for this, that 20% that comes off, it can make it get close. And that's, there are times when, and I always wondered, and I found out the hard way, what would happen if I didn't have the money, if the money didn't stay in the PayPal account long enough for the draft to come out the next day, or if I made sales on a Friday or Saturday, the debit comes out on a Saturday and sometimes a Sunday, depending on the day of the week, or not the day of the month. But sometimes it'll do a double hit on a Monday or a Tuesday. But I've already purchased the things that I need to do my next cook. And that little email that says, hey, the funds weren't available, but we'll get it next time. Oh, okay. I was worried. Like, I didn't know how that worked out, and it could have just been the fact that I didn't read it. Because where I would make sure that, okay, if I did $100 in sales today, I need to make sure I keep $20, $25 in there, so that when the payment comes out, it can come out. Because that was the whole point. I agreed to letting you guys, repaying 20%, I wasn't letting you guys, but repaying 20% of my sales back off the top. And like I said, I miss it sometimes, but other times it is what it is. I agreed to the loan and I have to repay it back.
Right. So it sounds like the loan has been beneficial because it helps you pay for not only the supplies that you need for your business, but also helps you just with day-to-day expenses and living.
The loan helped at the time for me to get things done. If it were a recurring line of credit, that would be better. But a recurring line of credit would be a lot more dangerous it's just dangerous, period. If I say, okay, I have this set amount of money that I took out and I have to spend X, Y, and Z on this, I can set up a budget, I can do what needs to be done, and then I know that I'm repaying it. If it's a rolling line of credit, all right, every time I get in trouble or if I don't feel like doing something, I'll just throw it this way. That's the problem with credit cards, things like that. So it's not revolving. So it was a one and done. It allowed me to take steps to get things at that time, which was good because it allowed me. Again, I'm a small business, and if I don't do enough catering events and other things like that, I can and will get behind on things, and it allowed me to buy the smoker, catch up on any bills that I was behind, pay ahead anything that I needed to pay ahead, buy food for me to be able to cook and make money off of. If I have $10 left in my pocket, I'm gonna spend $9, have $1 for change for someone, and I'm gonna make $20. That's just me. And I will spend my last to make back money in order to do what I have to do, and that's just me. So.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your
Not
story
a problem.
today. Thanks for cooking us delicious food.
Well, I'm glad you guys had me. It was very interesting. I appreciate you guys having me out, and I would love to come back and do something like this again if you wanted to have me talk or do something with another department or anything along those lines. Or send me to California to talk to them. I thank you very much for having me. That's it right there. I appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
As you,
Thanks
all
again.
right, you're welcome.
Woo!